All right, this is Sean from Cycle News, and we came out to Colorado Springs to Slavens Racing, and a lot of buzz about Yamaha off-road bikes right now. Cody Webb has created a lot of buzz, of course. He's put them back on the map in the off-road space. So Slavens guys actually hopped on and built their own project bike and made a 300 out of this. So we wanted to talk about like the engine and the rest of the bike and kind of the stuff you guys did to make this thing an off-road worthy YZ.
So this is actually started out as a 2016 YZ300X. And we converted it to a 300. So it's got a 300 kit from Cylinder Worx on it. And it's got all the bells and whistles on it. So here in Colorado, you know, we're at elevation, so we lose a lot of power right off the get-go. So we felt a 300 cylinder kit was pretty necessary for it to be a, you know, solid trail-worthy bike here in Colorado. So really happy with that. It gave it a lot more bottom end grunt to get over, you know, rocks and roots and nasty stuff here in Colorado. Probably my favorite part about this bike, parts I should say, is the suspension. So it's got MX Tech Raven cartridges on the forks, and it's got a MX Tech National shock on the rear. We love MX Tech products. All of these, if you are interested in MX Tech products, all of them come with our proprietary valving. So, you know, we'll ask you your make and model of your bike, you know, how much you weigh, and we'll valve it for the type of riding and your weight. And get you happy there. We'll start up top, I guess. We went with the Mako 360. We pretty much run Mako 360s on all of our bikes. They're super nice for when you're, you know, whether you're young or old. If you want to preserve your joints and you know, shoulders and wrists and whatnot, start with a Mako right away. They're going to cut down on vibration of the bars, absorb some of that, you know, square edge hit that you might feel while riding. We went with Warp 9's new 1.8" handlebars with the Mako there. We also went with the Molecule flag style handguards. We've been a big fan of the flag style handguards on a lot of our bike builds that we've done recently. So with this kit, we did a Polysport restyle kit. Like I said, this was a 2016 originally. So this has the new upgraded 2024 plastic, so it looks like a 2024 YZ now. It comes with a Polysport seat with the plastic kit. We ended up putting a Seat Concepts cover and foam seat on there. In Colorado, you know, long 50, 60, 70, 80 mile days in the saddle, your butt will thank you once you kind of ride a Seat Concept seat.
Yep,
you don't go back.
Yeah, for sure.
Front and rear wheels from Warp 9. These are Warp 9 Elite wheels with anodized blue hubs, black Elite hoop. We got rotors, oversized rotors front and rear. I feel like on the Yamaha especially, coming from like a KTM, you definitely want some more stopping power. With the wheels, we have tubeless installed, and we have an IRC JX8 front and a VX30 front IRC tire. We have Molecule skid plate with integrated linkage guard. So riding rocks and roots, that linkage is sometimes kind of vulnerable.
You have your own Electron carb, I believe, on there?
We do, yeah. So we have a Slavens Mule Billetron Electron carb. So this is you know, perfect for elevation. If you're, you know, not very good at jetting, or you don't want to, you know, rejet for temperature and elevation, the Electron is going to adjust and adapt for that. So in my opinion, it's you know, the next closest thing to fuel injection. So, you know, starting in Colorado here, we can start out at 6,000 feet and end up riding at 12,000 feet and not having to worry about, you know, jetting and elevations. Is really nice.
Yeah, and then sticking with the motor, I think we've got an FMF exhaust, and so tell us about what exhaust you guys decided to put on here.
Yeah, absolutely. So we did a FMF Fatty in the front. We feel like the Fatty gives it, you know, the best all-around power, gives it, you know, good bottom end, but also good top end over rev for when you're in those, you know, faster transfer sections. You can, you know, rev it out and have some top end there. On the silencer, we did a FMF turbine core 2.1. In Colorado, we all have to have, if you're riding in the National Forest, you have to be spark rested. So no better option than the FMF 2.1 on the silencer. Yep,
and then still on the motor, you said you got a Recluse clutch installed, correct?
We do. We actually installed, Recluse just came out with it just a couple months ago. It's their new Apex clutch, so it is a manual clutch. That actually is the same clutch that Cody Webb's running on his YZ250.
Perfect. And I guess one last thing on the motor, looks like a Vortex ECU on this thing?
We did, yeah. We did a Vortex ignition. You know, again, being in Colorado, we lose so much power, you know, off the get-go. So we wanted to squeeze every bit we could out of this bike, and we feel with all those motor mods, we made a really good trail-worthy YZ300.
All right, so yeah, I almost forgot. From this side, we kind of missed it, but this thing has an e-start on it. So what option did you guys go with there?
Absolutely. So we went with the Fishmoto e-start kit. You know, again, in our opinion, a good trail bike is going to need an e-start, and once you've been spoiled with an e-start on a KTM for so long, it's hard to go back to that kicker. And you know, if you're in those technical, rocky, off camber situations. And you stall your bike, reaching down and kicking on a side of a mountain is sometimes not the most fun. So especially after you've been spoiled for so many years. So the Fishmoto e-start kit has been really good for this bike.
So yeah, one of the things that we thought was pretty cool for Ryan and I, we got to see the shop today, and it's cool to see, like, for us, we're both like little kids in the candy store. It's not often you get to see all the cool stuff on the shelves and in the store there. And looks like this is basically a showcase of a lot of those products, on a YZ here. So I guess, how do you guys come up with all the cool products? How do you guys select them and all that?
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing that sets us apart from many shops is, we all use and ride what we sell. So everything that you can find on this bike is something that we've used and we think is a high quality product. Yeah, so anything you guys find on this bike, you guys can find on our website, slavensracing.com. If you guys have any questions, you're always more than happy to give us a call, and we can help you, talk you through your purchase and make sure you're getting the right parts.
All right, what's up guys? I'm Ryan with Cycle News. Yesterday you saw Sean break down all the details of this 2016 YZ300X 300X project bike that we are riding today out in Colorado with the crew from Slavens Racing. And I think I have a new goal in life. I want to be like Jeff Slavens when I'm older. 72 years old, kicking my butt on the trails today out here in Colorado. I'm having a blast riding this thing. This to me is really what a project bike is. It's not a brand new bike that we just threw a bunch of stuff on. These guys took a 2016 YZ300X. If you are a Yamaha guy, you have a Yamaha dealer in your area, and this is the enduro version of their bike, right? If you want to ride a two-stroke. So what they did is they took all this stuff and put it on the bike to make it more woods ready and trail ready, like what the stuff they have out here. So me being a little bit more of a motocross guy, I feel a little bit more comfortable riding the YZ250 just because it's more of that motocross style. It's a little bit stiffer than the KTM. It's a little bit thinner than the KTM that we were riding earlier today as well. And yeah, I was really impressed with the 300 kit because it really is, it's not an enduro kit. It's a motocross kit bolted onto a motocross version, right? The X has a little bit different mapping, a little bit different timing, ignition to make it more a smoother curve when you're riding more off-road stuff and more racing version stuff. But the 300 kit really worked well out here. I mean, we got up to 11,000 feet today, so having those extra 50 cc's really helped out. What I was most impressed with is I kept this thing in second gear almost all day and just lugged it. And normally when I'm riding a YZ250, I feel like I gotta be on the pipe, I gotta be clutching it, and the 300 kit really came in handy. Yeah, well, I was following Jeff around and just being able to leave it in second gear, stand on the pegs, give it a little bit of throttle, and just roar, 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 all the way up the hills was super fun and a lot easier than I expected, especially riding a YZ250 essentially. So that was my biggest takeaway on this bike. Another thing about the 300 kit is we're riding up here in elevation. So we just had the Colorado National for the AMA Pro Motocross a few weeks ago, and everyone's talking about how much they're down on power and all that. So having a 250 up here with a 300 kit kind of makes it even, right? It's like you add power, but we're up in elevation, so you're gonna take power away. The other thing on here is the Electron carb. So we haven't had to mess with jetting all day. We're riding way up here. We went from 6,000 or 7,000 feet to 11,000 feet, and we haven't had to tune it. It hasn't, started bogging or sputtering or anything like that, like you would on an old school carb. So it's nice to just have that on here. It doesn't mess around. Like you just get on, ride, go as high as you want, go as low as you want, ride it up, down, whatever. So that was something for me that riding a two-stroke or riding a new KTM where it's fuel injected, you're like, oh fuck, I gotta redo all these things. But having Electron carb 300 kit, super nice to riding up here in elevation when you're automatically down on power. Another thing that really impressed me is their suspension that they put on this. This is the MX Tech. They have the Raven cartridge drop-ins on these, and then the MX Tech National Shock. So their setting is specific for this kind of riding, this single track, woods, rocks and roots is their that is their MO. And I've ridden the newer YZ300X. I've ridden the older version as well. And this thing, I was just most impressed of how nimble it was and how kind of bouncy it is in the soft stuff where you can go slow and and really finesse the bike, push your feet through the shock and the fork and really get the bike to move where you want it to go. And then also when we're kind of going a little bit faster on these, you know, transfer roads or kind of fire roads, it's not super soft and like pushing through and kicking me around. For being like a motocross bike, I was kind of expecting it to kind of bounce off stuff, going up some of these trails and the rocks and stuff. I was kind of expecting it to kick me, but the bike stayed super straight and just really ate the bumps up all the way. So I was really impressed with that. I thought, kind of jumping back and forth on one of the KTMs that we're riding today, that this bike would be, you know, a lot further behind than a new KTM 300. But honestly, I was really impressed with how it handled, and I think it could take on a KTM. The 300 that we were riding today is kind of that purpose-built bike, comes off the showroom floor ready to do this kind of riding, where this bike is a little bit more project bike, where they put the stuff on and tuned it really to get it to ride this kind of stuff. So that to me was really impressive. The only downside I felt like with this bike was the vibration. I really noticed a lot of vibration from the pegs to the handlebars. I think that's just more of it being a YZ rather. I think the KTM has a counterbalancer on it that really smooths the engine out and kind of reduces the vibration. But luckily we had this nice cushy seat concept seat. It's got the big wide like kind of dual sport seat on the back here. So when we're doing these longer rides and my legs are getting tired, I can sit on the back and really enjoy the comfort of that. Another thing that I felt like helped reduce the vibration along with the seat is this XC Gear Mako 360. The handlebar mount, I felt like reduced a lot of the vibrations. I've never ridden with one of these before, and I was pretty impressed. Like up front, when it got kind of sketchy, I was noticing that I did feel a little bit of vibration dampening on that. Unfortunately, I know it's a brand new project bike, but we definitely put it through the ringer today. Seeing all these guards on the bike, sometimes I'm like, man, I can't believe people really buy those guards. But being kind of just a moto guy in SoCal, you don't really get the exposure to the stuff like they're riding out here. So like these hand guards, nice and thick, the bulletproof designs, rear disc guards, the big skid plate, the pipe guard. I mean, you can't ride without those things. You need them out here, especially for the rocks and the roots. Any of you GNCC guys or East Coast off-road guys definitely know what we're talking about. Finally, probably the biggest thing that was super nice to have on the YZ250 is the e-start. So they equipped this bike with the Fish Moto kit, and dude, how would you ride a YZ250 without one of these things? After you're kind of jumping back and forth, it's just such a standard thing now, and all these other bikes have a e-start kit, and having it on here worked super good. No issues on my end at all. Just nice to be able to get stuck on the side of a trail and not have to flip the Kickstarter out and kick it a few times. So a few really key mods they made to this bike: the suspension, the engine kit, the e-start as well. I think really take the YZ250X and really make it comparable to something like you could just buy off of a KTM showroom. This bike could easily go head to head with one of those. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks to the Slavens Racing crew for getting us set up with this bike and having us out to ride on these awesome trails. Anything you see on this bike is available at slavensracing.com. You can find a full test on this bike and more at cyclenews.com or in our Cycle News digital magazine, which is available for free every Monday night at cyclenews.com. If you're not subscribed to the channel, check it out. You'll see this and more bike tests on our channel below. And thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time out on the trail.